Good morning all. Just thought I'd have a little chat from inside my studio about allotments. It's raining outside at the moment. We had some showers last night and we've just had quite a bit of a downpour, enough to wet the ground, so not going to need to do any watering. But anyway, I've gave myself a little list here of things to talk about. So today's video is going to be about the benefits, pitfalls and myths of allotment. Right. Now obviously this is going to vary for everyone. Everyone's got different reasons for taking on an allotment. I think I've mentioned mine before was originally to grow flowers. Because we hadn't got the space at home, and because it was more of my parents' garden than mine, I didn't really have that much say, although that's starting to alter now and I'm having more of an influence. But anyway, that's what I took it on for, and so for me that's what the benefits were going to be to paint and that. As it turned out, my interest in growing fruit and veg, just took charge. It just went ahead, and the flowers got put on hold, really. I mean, we did grow bedding plants, things which we're a bedding plant bungalow. My parents have always been mostly into bedding plants rather than perennials. So perennials for me this year has been a real change of direction. Well, it will be for next year, but you know, I'm growing them this year. So yeah, so that was the reason why I took it on. Now, some of the benefits for me, when I took mine on, it's really overgrown, and in the first 6 months between the allotment and also it coincided with when I was able to start taking my dog for walks, I lost 3 stone in weight. No dieting. I don't diet. Don't believe in it. I just increased the fitness, and so yeah. So that was a big change. Yeah, okay. I've got a few extra pounds, quite a few extra pounds on me. I've always had a belly right from a kid. It's something, you know. It's in the genes. Probably from overeating, but I don't drink, so it's not from that. You might see some cans and that around, but they're Dad's. So yeah, it's been good for the health. Also, mental health. You know, it's brilliant. If you are of a sensitive nature, maybe an artist or something like that. Most of us artists seem to be very sensitive, and at some point we've probably suffered from depression or anxiety or things like that. Well, the allotment's a great escape for that. It's brought me so much joy, you know, and if you're in a caring role, it's just that place where you can go down and you can just switch off for a little while. It's brilliant. Yeah, just listening. When you're down there and you listen, you've got to make an effort, because you'll switch off. It's like a clock, ticking clock in your room. If you're used to one, you won't hear it. But you've got to sit there, make a cup of tea, a coffee, and just listen to the birds and the wildlife, and just watch. And it's great. It just lowers the blood pressure. It really does. The important thing is to go around with an open eye. Don't rush around like you do in your city job or whatever. You know, you just got to take it easy. And okay, I know I fall into that mistake. I do rush sometimes, and I don't. It's only when I play the videos back that I realise just how beautiful the sounds and that are, you know. And that's really what I had the allotments for, was to, you know, for the growing the flowers and the painting and, you know, the nature. You know, I firmly think that you shouldn't have radios or anything like that on an allotment unless you've got it using headphones. I think it's a big no. It's not right for other people. And in fact, I did have, after I took my allotments on, I did take one on in my own village here, and that was one of the reasons why I gave up, because of the radio. I just don't want it. I want an allotment to enjoy the country and that, it's not fair on other people to have a radio on. So there you are. So that's that, mental health. Another thing, if you're shy like me, don't like to go in front of the camera, then it's a great place to have to join in with conversation. Now, obviously, not all allotments the same. It was part of the reason why I gave up in my village here, because the people just didn't want to mingle. Now, admittedly, that was a brand new plot, so most of the people who took one on were new to gardening, and they wanted it. They appeared to want it as a place to share as a couple an interest, and they didn't want to join in. So, but if you take on, my advice is, if you take on a new plot and you're a beginner, try and join in with the group. There'll be a group there somewhere, especially if it's been there for a while, and then then you can get regular chats every day. I mean, I often, I'll have a coffee every day when I'm down there. I'm part of that group. You'll get some people, they have no intention of joining in at all. They just do not want it. Maybe it's because they've got a busy social life or a busy job, and they just want, to be alone. Fair enough, that's fine. But for me, I don't have any social life as such, really. Not a great deal. Not like the normal person. So for me, that is my social life, being at the allotment with like-minded people. Although, I don't know, it's a bit of a myth, I suppose. I used to always think that people who probably into allotment life were into nature and into sporting activities and things, but I don't think it's always the case. I've noticed about allotment there's people who have got no interest in, they're not really interested in nature and that, so I suppose it's an individual thing, but for me that's what it's all about. Of course, a lot of people will have the allotment for the healthy food, and you hear a lot about organic being mentioned these days. I'm not organic. I've never said I'm organic, and I personally, this is just my personal belief, I don't think anyone can say that they're organic, because of the amount of things that are blowing in the wind and that what pollute your plot. And not only that, if you're buying plants from a garden centre and that, you don't know what's gone into that soil. You might be buying seeds, you might be buying bulbs, tubers, all sorts of things, and soil, compost. How do you know? You're just taking somebody's word, and unless it's been done in a sterilised environment under cover, then I can't see how it can be organic. Or maybe that's allowed. All that's allowed. Maybe you can call yourself organic if you ignore all that. But for me, no, I'm not organic. I do not very often, but I do have to use now and again a weed killer along the around my plot to stop the weeds, because it's just too time consuming with the fences and that to pull it all out and everything. So I do use it, but it's only maybe a couple of times a year. And I do, if you want to get good crops, then you've got to use some sort of pesticide or whatever, insecticide or whatever, on your fruit trees and vegetables, unless you're prepared to have losses. So yeah, not organic. I'm, as you're probably aware by now, I'm a meat eater. Veg and that isn't my thing. I'm a big potato eater. We all are in our family, my parents and I. So we'll get through a lot of those. And fruit. My plot's mostly fruit. It has been in the past anyway. It's diversifying a bit now into flowers and veg as well. But I do grow veg, and I will grow more. But as I said, I'm not organic. Colour is another good thing about the allotment. Is if you're growing flowers, and on our allotments, as more and more people will have flower, they'll have a patch for flowers, whether it's sweet peas, dahlias, bedding plants. There's quite a few who are getting it now, and that colour does make you feel better as well, and it brightens the place up. And obviously for me, I've got the benefits of photography and art. Okay, I'm not producing anything at the allotment at the moment. I'm hoping to still, but my photos, I don't know, I can't see now what you can see, but I'm surrounded here by photos what I've actually blown up now into a sort of A2 size, ready to go onto canvas. And because I like to see the image at a similar size to what I'm going to paint, so I use the two printers on my side here to do that, and then I obviously use my creative abilities to put my take on it. Right, let's talk about seeds. You're going to have to buy seeds sooner or later. I've bought seeds from all different places. I've had them from Mr. Fothergill's, Johnson's, Browns, all of them I've used, and outlets and that. At the beginning of the season, my first place I look is Lidl to get seeds from, for either things like beans, carrots, kohlrabi and flowers, and they work really well. They're cheap, around the 30p mark for a pack of seeds. You can pay £2.50 or £3 in the garden centres. So I always look there. But you've got other places. You've got B&Q, you've got B&M, you've got Wilko, you've got Aldi. And then you've got local places where they will have offers on, even in your co-op, or they'll all have them at some point. Oh, and the Works sometimes has cheap seeds, so that's always worth looking at. Right, okay. Two things you need to be aware of with an allotment are time involved, and obviously it varies for everyone. My plot is very time consuming because I grow a lot of plants from seed, hundreds, thousands. So I suppose I'm looking at it at a slightly different point of view, but really for anyone, from my experiences, looking at people on our plots, you do need to put the time in. You need to put in 10 or 15 hours a week to keep on top of things, and then sometimes you might not. You need to be aware that you're not always going to be fit. You're going to be like I've had sciatica, and I couldn't carry the mower out the car or put it in, So I had 2 weeks where the grass got quite long. I was trying to trim it, but it's just not the same, you know. So yeah, that brings us on to the expenses of things what you may need if you got grass paths, or you've got going to have a little lawn. You're going to need a mower, petrol mower. Now I bought mine off eBay. It was eBay, half price from a mower place, refurbished apparently. It came and it looked brand new. I couldn't see anything, couldn't see a mark on it. Been a great thing, you know, and it's self-propelled and that, so that's brilliant. So you have got expenses. You may be lucky in that you've got the sorry, I'm just going to have a quick look at the time. Yeah, that's alright. You may be able to get things cheap. You may be able to make raised beds. You'll be able to get the wood, the scaffolding boards and everything from local outlets, and maybe you've got the transport to carry those. I haven't got the facility or know the people to get things cheap. So for me it's been a costly venture. I think I paid £2,000 the first year on getting, there was things like the shed, there was the fencing, tools and everything, you know, what I needed, lawnmowers, trimmers and God knows what. And unfortunately another pitfall, sooner or later if you've got a shed and that, you're going to get broken into. I had my petrol mower stolen and I couldn't afford one the next year, so I was just trimming, and that was why last year my videos went right downhill. And I think it was about this time of the year where I finally had enough, and I didn't go down there as much as what I did before after the fruit had finished. You know, it was an effort, because I'd got so down over that previous year when my mower got stolen, and it took its toll on me, you know, and made me feel bad. You know, it was just one thing on top of another. I had a lot of problems with health and that, with parents, and because, you know, I care for them, and so yeah, you got to be aware of time, and have a backup plan if you can. It's part of the reason why I've got my allotments covered in black weed control fabric. I've got fruit. I'm trying to put things in where it's less time involved, where I can get away with not being up there every day. Admittedly, during the summer it's not going to happen, because I do actually need to be there every day for the plants. But maybe next year, with the perennials and that, they'll be in places in the allotment, they'll be in the garden at home, so it's going to help me cut my time down. Right, I think I've covered everything on my list. There's probably going to be a lot of things which I haven't mentioned. If there's something you want me to talk about, then please mention it below. If you've got questions, this is if you're totally new to a plot. As I say, I'll say it again, I know I've repeated myself numerous times, I'm not organic, so if you're looking for advice on an organic perspective, that's not me. Although I try to be sensible on the plot as much as possible, I do have to think about getting value for money. I know some of you do, talking about value, do pay a lot for your allotments a year. Ours isn't bad at all. In fact, I think we're very lucky. They've just changed the timing of when we pay. It used to be, I think it was May, and now it's 6 months later. Was it October or something? So this time when our bill came, it was for 18 months, and my 3 50-foot plots came to £42 for 18 months, so it's £28 a year. I think that's really good, and the water and everything's included. That is something you've also got to think about when you take allotments. Some of them will charge you extra for water charge, so yeah. Okay, I'm not going to bore you anymore. It's quite a long video, a lot longer than I expected. So let's just see if I can connect up on my little app here. Photography. If you are filming yourself, I'm using a Sony bridge camera. Very good, really happy with it. You've probably seen my photos of photos. You've probably seen my photos of flowers and that, and I've not actually truly really used it for the zoom. It does have a 50 times zoom on it, and it can that's optical, and it can go up to 100 times digital, which and it does produce reasonable results. So and it connects up to my smartphone, so brilliant. I love it. I'm well chuffed because it's given me photos here which are fantastic for my paintings. So, and whether you paint or not, whether it's just you just want the photos. And I'll tell you what, I'm just going to get up and I'll tell you the model, because people have asked me this and I've forgotten. So, in fact, I wonder whether it's got it on the charger. No, it hasn't. I'm looking. I can't see what it is now. Maybe it's the tripod mount might be hiding it. I think it's if I remember right, it's something like an HX 400 something or other. It's got 400 in it anyway. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching.